All right, well, good morning, everyone. It is 11 a.m. Thank you for joining us for today's press conference. I am Karen Carty, the Assistant Commissioner for Media Relations here at the MEAC, and I'll be moderating today's proceedings. We will begin with opening comments from Dr. Johnson Oakinley, Chancellor of North Carolina Central University and the Chair of the MEAC Presidents and Chancellors Council, followed by comments from Dr. Tony Allen, President of Delaware State University and Chair of the MEAC Presidents and Chancellors Search Committee. Dr. Akinley?
Thank you so much. Good morning. Thank you, Ms. Carty. Good morning to everyone. I am pleased to be with you on this very, very important day. First, I want to say a word of gratitude to our Commissioner Dennis Thomas. I hope he's on. I want to let him know that we appreciate and applaud his many years of service, dedicated service to MEAC as the Commissioner. And we wish him the very best in his retirement. And we look forward to seeing him around in many of our games. On behalf of the Council of Presidents and Chancellors, the entire MEAC organization, including our student athletes and coaching staff, our fans, and our supporters, I am pleased to welcome our Commissioner-elect, Ms. Sonja Steele, into her new role of leading our MEAC conference. As you well know, this is a historic appointment for her historic organization, MEAC. MEAC makes history again by appointing the first female commissioner in its 50+ years of history. Ms. Steele is a competent, well-accomplished, and well-experienced individual who has been working in the trenches of MEAC and NCAA for many years. We look forward to working with her in her new role and in moving the agenda of our conference, the success and the well-being of our students to the next level. I also want to take a minute to thank my colleagues, presidents and chancellors, council members, and the great president of Delaware State University, Dr. Tony Allen, who served as the chair of the search committee, along with Dr. Javon Adams-Gaston, the illustrious president of Norfolk State University, for their great work on the national search that produced our next commissioner. And at this time, I will pass the baton on back to Ms. Cuddy. And once again, we want to welcome Ms. Steele into her new role. We look forward to working with her.
Thank you so much, Dr. Akinley. I just got word that Dr. Allen will not be with us. So now we will hear from Commissioner-elect Sonja Stills.
Well, good morning, everybody. And first, I want to thank Dr. Akinley and, of course, Dr. Allen, who headed up the search committee, along with the Council of Presidents and Chancellors, for allowing me this opportunity to lead and move the MEAC forward. I am extremely honored to be in this position and humbled by the support shown thus far. And I would like to thank Dr. Thomas for his leadership, his friendship, his mentorship that has led me to this day. So now, with that said, let's get to some of your burning questions just right off the bat. I know you all want to know, what's going to be different. So my vision for the conference, of course, involves some office restructuring that fits into the creative and innovation that is necessary for the current times that we're in. Working with the membership on a strategic and long-range plan to ensure that we have a vision that is a shared vision for the conference, and that includes membership expansion. As well as it would also include continued implementation of our new brand in marketing and storytelling of the conference, which is extremely important as we share our ups, our downs, our history and our legacy with the fans, student athletes, coaches, and the membership as a whole. So with that said, I'll take it back to you, Ms. Carty.
Thank you so very much, Ms. Stills. We will now open the floor for questions from the media. For Ms. Stills only. Dr. Akinley will not be taking any questions. To ask a question, use the raise hand feature in Zoom, and when called upon, please introduce yourself and state your media affiliation before asking a question. Please note that you are allowed to record today's press conference. Our first question is from Mr. Charles Hallman.
You're on mute.
Got it now. Still trying to learn this. Charles Hallman, Minnesota spokesman recorder. Congratulations, Commissioner Stills.
Thank you, Charles. Thank you so much.
The HBCU has been getting a lot of notoriety lately in the last couple of years for recruiting, for getting television packages, those type of things. So your thoughts on, you talk about restructuring and moving forward, what single thing you feel that you need to continue to have the MEAC be in the forefront of attention and not in the back row, so to speak, when they talk about conferences in college sports?
So I think the one of the things that we are going to be focusing on is giving us a national platform, continue, of course, we have our long-term relationship with ESPN. So having more opportunities to put our HBCU membership in front of a national audience. So that's going to be key. A part of that is using our social media platforms to tell the story of the MEAC in new and unique creative ways. That's going to fit and reach out to our students and our young alumni and that type of thing. So we're looking for ways that we can tell the story of the conference and its legacy in very different and unique ways.
Thank you very much. Congratulations again.
Thank you so much, Charles.
Up next, Mr. Ty Miller.
Ty, you are on mute, sir.
There you go. Thank you. Good morning to you and congratulations on your new position, first of all.
Thank you, Ty.
I want to ask you, have you had conversations with Jackie McWilliams of the CIAA? And if so, what kind of information and advice has she shared with you?
Jackie McWilliams, my goodness. I actually reached out to her before I started the process and before I really thought about putting my hat in the ring. She so supportive of my journey and so excited. And her great advice is to be myself, bring what I want to bring. Of course, my vision is different from Dr. Thomas's. I have served under him for over 23 years, starting out at Hampton University. And I did what I was supposed to do as a loyal employee. I executed his vision. And so, but it's time for me to execute my vision for the conference. And so she made it very clear that I need to be able to tell and share my vision and the uniqueness of that, where it separates myself from him. She gave me great advice. She is there to support me, and I honestly look forward to working with her in the future.
I do want to backtrack and explain my affiliation with Power News Radio Network, and also we produce Black College Football Weekly. Next question is, in your opening statement, you mentioned your vision of conference expansion. Can you briefly expound on that?
Sure. So of course, everybody is like, we gotta add schools to the MEAC. And of course, we've always been looking at membership expansion, but it's very important that we look at it in a methodical way, that we don't just, hey, you got to get a school here, get a school there. They have to align with our mission. They have to align with us academically, athletically, budget-wise. It has to make sense. We need to make sure that it fit within our footprint. So, we're going to be looking at ways that we can do that with the strategic long range plan of really taking a good look of who would be a good fit for us. Now, individuals want to say, okay, they'll throw out schools and we know that when you bring in a another Division I institution. It's going to take some time. You know, the institutions have to vet themselves to make sure that it's going to be a good fit. So this is nothing that will occur overnight. But we will be definitely pressed on doing that, but doing it in the right way. And that could be a matter of looking at associate membership first, to show the value of the conference to potential members. So, but yeah, we are definitely focused on how we can move forward in expanding, but in a right way of doing that.
And my final question is, you've been heavily involved in esports with the MEAC. Can you talk more about that and how it's impacted the colleges in the MEAC?
Great. That's esports has been my biggest challenge and my biggest joy. I have enjoyed it. You know, I haven't played esports since Atari and Frogger, you know, but so getting up to date on, you know, what's going on, and got my own PlayStation last year so I can keep up. And I can tell you right now, I did NBA 2K and I spent most of the time on the scrimmage with my back to the floor trying to figure out how to turn around and join the game. So it has been truly a good challenge for me, but it's been very, very delightful for me, because this is an initiative that the presidents and chancellors have wanted to be a conference initiative. And for us to look to be a HBCU esports league. And so we started at the bottom, grassroots last year, to where we are now have the schools have teams, esports teams. We started our conference play about 3 weeks ago. And we're streaming on our Twitch channel. And so it has grown in such a great way. And the awareness of esports on each campuses, where we do, you know, letting the institutions know that we do have teams on the campus and to come and join. We want to change that casual player into a competitive player, and to be able to be a pipeline of minorities into the gaming industry is extremely important, that we're not looking at just the competition side, but looking at the real experience that we can give our students, whether it's shoutcasters, streamers. It's a lot of things that to make people aware of. There's a lot that you can do in gaming with the degrees that you have now, which is very important. But we were able to build an ecosystem, and where we have a community board that involves each individual, each members or representatives from each of the member schools. And so that is the buy-in from the schools. Some of our institutions are embarking on esports degrees as well. And so we are building, and I look forward to, my vision is that we will have a varsity esports league pretty soon.
Okay, well, thank you very much again. Congratulations. And we're looking forward to that Black college football game in esports.
All right, now let's do it, Ty.
All right, Dr. Cavill.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you. I wanted to say thanks to Chancellor Dr. Kinley, North Carolina Central, for the opening statement. Also would be remiss, obviously, if I did not say congratulations to you, Ms. Stills, on this wonderful opportunity. I'm sure it's well deserved.
Appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Without a doubt, without a doubt. To my question, you speak about vision and strategy, and from my perspective, that is extremely important, and really a lot of what goes on today in the athletic world. I think the strengths of the MEAC and the threats are pretty obvious, but I wanted to ask you in terms of, if you would, if you can, briefly talk about the challenges, but more importantly, the opportunities that you see associated with your vision and strategies that you plan to implement over maybe the next 6 months, and certainly over the next year or so.
Yeah, so I think, and we all know what the challenges are with the landscape, with the realignments going on, and excuse me, other conferences looking at our institutions to help with their membership expansion. And so, of course, that's a challenge. And that's a challenge not only for the MEAC, it's a challenge for other conferences. So we're not unique in that. And, you know, in our 51 years history, we've gone through expansion before. You know, we started out with 7, we went up to about 13, and now, you know, down to 11, and now 8, you know, and we will continue to go through expansion. So that's nothing new and unique to us. The challenge, of course, is we have the buy-in of the council, which is very important. When you have the presidents and chancellor who are invested in the sustainability of the conference, that's extremely important. So having that support is going to help with the sustainability of the conference, and that's most important. Find ways for our members to see the value in staying in the MEAC. We have 4 research activity institutions, higher research. You know, that's extremely important. That's we have, and that's pretty high for a conference. In addition to that, we have or accredited Board of Engineering Technology schools in the conference, as well as we have 3 HBCUs who graduate more African Americans in STEM. You know, the conference is so rich academically as well as athletically. And so that's extremely important to tell that story that makes us attractive to other members. That when you come into the conference, you're not going down. We're looking for members who are going to help accentuate the academic excellence that we have with our Elite 8. And I call them the Elite 8 because we have very strong members who are committed to the MEAC and its sustainability. And that's if you have that support, that's most important. So now it's about sharing that vision that we have for the conference and that transparency with our membership and with our fans and our alumni so that they can see where we are going as a conference and get that buy-in with them as well. I hope that answered your question.
No doubt about it. I really like when you speak of the MEAC in terms of those Elite 8 institutions. Yes. Obviously, the relationship with ESPN that you spoke about is important in terms of opportunities that it provides, not only athletically, but academically. But in part of that relationship is the unique partnership with the Southwestern Conference in terms of the SWAC MEAC Challenge or the Celebration Bowl.
Right.
You had a chance, or has the commissioner of the SWAC, Dr. Charles McCullen, out to you to congratulate you? And do you see that as being a strong moving forward?
Absolutely. Commissioner McClellan was also one of the people that I reached out before I took this journey. It was very important because I've have, of course, you know, with the many activities that we do and share, and being in the same place and seeing how he works, I wanted to ask, you know, his opinion, and he gave me great advice, and he called to congratulate me, and I look forward to working with him. I think the MEAC and the SWAC has partnered in so many ways, and I think that we will continue to do that. Of course, we're only 2 of the only HBCU Division I conferences, so it's important that we are working together when we talk about that HBCU voice within the NCAA and how we'll look in the new restructuring that's getting ready to happen to make sure that we have a voice. So we will definitely be working together and doing more things. You know, of course, the MEAC, we are strong. We can stand on our own as a conference, but it's important that we work in concert with the SWAC as we tell the story of HBCUs and the things that we can do with our voice.
Thank you for
Thank
sharing
you.
that vision and the opening. I also want to say congratulations again. Good luck moving forward and look forward to the opportunities that you bring to the table with the MEAC.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
All right, we will pause for just a second from media questions because we have been joined by Dr. Allen, President of Delaware State University and Chair of the MEAC Presidents and Chancellors Search Committee. Good morning, Dr. Allen. How are you?
Hey, Karen, how are you doing?
Doing well.
Good. I just wanted to, and I apologize first for being late, but I wanted to add my great accolades to Commissioner-elect Stills and certainly to Commissioner Thomas for tenure. Well done. I had the great fortune of being the search committee for the next commissioner. And I can tell you all that it was not easy. We were clear-eyed in our approach. We wanted somebody durable, determined, and able to lead a real paradigm shift in the MEAC. And we want the MEAC to take its rightful place in the NCAA, particularly at an important time like this. And we looked far and wide to try to do that. And I could not be more proud that we came to the conclusion that that person was sitting in the MEAC office already. Commissioner-elect Stills is going to be fantastic for the conference. She knows our history. She knows our commitment. She was speaking a little bit about that around the Elite Eight's commitment to the ongoing sustainability of the MEAC. And as I think about Delaware State's role, we see ourselves, quite frankly, as the founder of the MEAC. So our ability to find the right person to lead the way as we go into this next journey was very important to us, but I would argue very important to everybody in the MEAC, and I think has set a tone for where we are going to go and who we're going to attract as we move forward. So Commissioner-elect Stills and I had the opportunity to talk on Monday, I believe, and it was as an exceptional conversation as the interview process has been over the last 8 weeks. So I just wanted to say to you, Sonja, thank you for taking the risk and recognizing that the best is yet to come. And we are in lockstep behind you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Allen.
Absolutely.
Really appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you for your comments, Dr. Allen, and thank you for being here with us.
Absolutely.
Our next question will come from Daryl Duvall.
Commissioner Steele, can you hear me?
I can. How you doing, Daryl?
Pretty good. This is Daryl Duvall from Powering You. I just want to say congratulations on the getting the commissioner position starting next year. You know, this and what we're living in right now, I mean, there's a lot of changes from, obviously the news is coming out from HBCUs on the living conditions of the schools, but everything else is going up. But again, the bottom line is I want to say congratulations, but the question I want to ask you is, where do you see this conference in the next 5 years? And that's the question I want to ask.
Great question, Daryl. So I see the conference as one, particularly when you talk about esports. I see us as a varsity esports conference. A part of that, I see the expansion of additional members to the conference, and definitely looking, to make that impact with football, particularly. And I think the other thing is to have more national exposure for our membership is key. And then additional corporate partnerships, which is extremely important. This is the time that we need to assist our member institutions with generating more revenue. And as you know, the MEAC is one of the FCS conferences that actually do revenue distribution to our membership. And so we want to make sure that we continue that and find additional revenue. But also, my vision is that the MEAC will be a Mideastern athletic and academic conference, and being able to reach out to not only sports, but across the campus on various initiatives. So that's where I see the conference in 5 years.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Daryl.
Stephen Gaither.
Commissioner Stills, how you doing?
I'm great. How you doing, Stephen?
I'm doing great. Congratulations on your new position.
Thank you.
I know you talked about speaking with Commissioner McWilliams in the CIAA, and Dr. Cavell asked about the SWAC. Of course, you guys are Division I, but talk about maybe the relationship that maybe there may be some synergy between the CIAA and the MEAC. Obviously, they're joined at the hip, and in terms of region and history. But are there any opportunities for you guys to work with them, even as they're a D2 league, and how that may work?
Yeah, I definitely see us collaborating. I don't know how that would look at this point, but certainly that is a discussion that, of course, me and Jackie would need to have, as well as, is this something that's going to be a part of our strategic and long range plan, as how we can, like you said, the footprint is pretty much the same. And so there may be opportunities that we can do, games together, in some way, but it just needs to fit to where we're going as a conference. And being able to do that, we need to, it has to be a discussion with the athletic directors and the presidents and chancellors as to how that type of partnership would work.
Got you. Maybe even on the academic side, maybe is that a little bit easier?
Absolutely. With the academic side, certainly collaborating with esports. I've worked with Ben Baxter from the CIAA in regards to that, and so I look at various ideals. Of course, I've done the Women in Athletics Professional Development Workshop for years. And I've had Jackie participate in that years ago when she was still at the NCAA office. So, and that's open to all women, regardless of whether you are HBCU in the MEAC or PWI, it didn't matter. It's open because we want to have more women and minorities in the pipeline. For athletic administration. So I definitely would love to collaborate with Jackie on that.
Got you. And then membership wise, I know, we talked about the fit for the schools and everything. And I know previously with expansion, you guys have talked about, possibly going, how important is the HBCU part of the MEAC, as far as going forward in terms of, looking at your membership, and then also, and just also, pushing that strategic part of it, because, that is something that's has become a hot topic recently.
Yeah. Look, we know who we are. We know we're a historically Black college and university conference. We know that. That's how we were founded. That's the mission of our institution. So regardless of who we expand the membership to, whether it's a predominantly white institution or not, they still have to align with the mission of our institutions. They still have to fit athletically and academically. That's not going to change, but it still does not change the identity of the MEAC. And that's the same as you see the other conferences pulling our HBCU schools. It does not change their identity. It's just an added bonus of having an HBCU within their conference.
And then last question.
I'm sorry. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
And then last question. Obviously, you have your connection to Hampton. North Carolina A&T has left the conference and things like that. Obviously, expansion, you're looking at different schools, but would you all be open to former members maybe, changing their minds now that you guys have the, smaller footprint, some of the initiatives that are going on? How would, would that be a consideration for you all?
Absolutely. I think that, we have a membership committee. We are open. As you know, within our history, we've had institutions who left and came back. And so, it just needs to be a good fit, not only for us, but, for the institution that wants to return. Certainly, we're open to that.
Thank you so much. Congratulations. Look forward to speaking with you again.
Thanks, Stephen. Thank you so much.
Mr. James Hill.
Good morning, Commissioner-elect Steels. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing, James?
Awesome. Congratulations on all of your success.
Thank you.
And wanted to ask you about what it's like to become the first female commissioner in MEAC and HBCU Division I history, this episode in history, and what it's like for you personally to be that type of trailblazer.
Wow. It's humbling. People keep saying that, and of course, historic, and I lean on the women who have been in my path, who helped me along the way. I look at Jewel Long, who was my first boss, and after I graduated with my master's as the assistant dean of women at Hampton, and how she shaped me. Because of course, I went to Old Dominion University. I'm a proud Monarch, and loved it there. But, going to Hampton, when you go from a PWI to a HBCU is a little culture shock, and her molding me into that, showing me the culture of being at a HBCU was very important. I look at Mindy Sofer, who was my my supervisor in my internship at Old Dominion University, and how if it wasn't for her changing jobs from student activities to athletics, academic support, my journey would never have started. It was very important that I was able to want to work with her during my graduate work. That shaped that love of athletics, working with student athletes. And then the foundation of my mother. I'm a proud military brat. And so, us military brats, you're the mother or the wife is the one holding down the home front, as my father traveled, and I am my daddy's child. And so that foundation that she gave me, the strength of holding it together for my dad, and telling me, don't wear that, and you make sure you do your hair, and those type of foundations is significant. And then looking, coming into the conference, like Monique Smith taking me in when I became the SWA, and nurturing me. I was, young, and didn't want to act right. As I look back on my life, but, and then coming into the conference office and working with Brenda McCoy, Hall of Famer, and her 2 tours as an interim commissioner, that's significant. And what she did while she was here is tremendous. And so looking at that in the first that we have with Charlene Johnson as the AD, and Melanie Webb first at Norfolk State, and Dr. McCree at Central. So I see all those trailblazers within the MEAC conference. And so it's humbling to see that I'm on my way. I don't say trailblazer yet, because the work hasn't been done yet. I am focused right now on the job. I still have the chief of staff, chief operating officer position right now. So I still have work to do. And it's one of the things that in my career, I've always been focused on the job at hand. What am I doing right now? I have to stay grounded in this job, and then the other job will come. But I'm humbled. I woke it up for the last couple of days and like, I did this, and I can't believe where I am, and I am excited to where I'm going to be.
Awesome. And finally, you've been able to, you alluded to it, but working from the inside out, you've been in-house for a while in terms of chief of staff and the MEAC, and you know the conference from the inside out. But just talk about going forward as you move forward in your next step.
Working my say the best thing about and I guess my leg up is I'm grounded in the MEAC. I've lived it. I understand it. My whole career is in the MEAC. So I know where the challenges are. I know what changes need to be made. And just having that latitude to do that. Having the support of the membership to move the conference forward. That, like, again, like I said, the shared vision for where we want to go. Who is our identity now as the Elite Eight is extremely important to be able to shape where we're going in the future. I can't go by myself. I have to go with everybody together. We have to go together as we see where we are in the future.
Thank you. BNC Sports, we're always here for you.
Thanks, James. Thank you so much.
You got it. Have a great day.
You too, hon.
Mia Berry.
Good morning, Commissioner Seals. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing, Mia?
I'm doing well. First and foremost, congratulations on your success in your recent appointment.
Thank you so much.
I just have one question. So you take over January during basketball season, during the winter sports. I wanted to know, what were your expectations for some of these MEAC conference championships coming up, including basketball, spring sports, and next year's Celebration Bowl?
Well, Mia, when we prepare for the basketball tournament, our championships, we start in the summer. So we are definitely moving forward. Most importantly, with the basketball tournament and all our championships, is we want to give our student athletes a great experience. That's very important. And so looking, for instance, when we're looking at the basketball tournament, doing some new things that we haven't done before. So an example of that is having our first LAN tournament for esports, or our first in-person championship during the basketball tournament on the front end. Another item would be our student leadership symposium that we are planning for our student leaders, not just for our student athletes, but student leaders in general, our student government association members, and giving them a great experience. But particularly when we talk about championships, is finding more exposure for them. So, still working with ESPN for the platform for our sports, and then looking for opportunities where, if they're not on ESPN, what other exposure that we can have for our students, particularly in our Olympic sports.
Okay. A quick follow up to that. Is there any timetable? You mentioned esports, you mentioned the symposium. Any timetable on that? Will we see it next conference championships?
You will see that for the basketball tournament, this upcoming 22 basketball tournament. The esports will be Monday and Tuesday going into the tournament. And then the student leadership symposium is planned for that Thursday, Friday, and Saturday of the tournament.
Okay, thank you. And just to backtrack, I am Mia Berry, and I am with the Undefeated.
Thank you, Mia.
Thank you.
Mr. Mark Gray.
Good morning and congratulations, Commissioner-elect. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you, Mark.
I'm with Heritage Sports Radio Network, and I'm also with Smash Entertainment, and we produce the HBCU Sports Nation. So I'm very familiar with the MEAC. And you mentioned earlier in your comments that about your vision of the MEAC after being groomed by Dr. Thomas, if you will. Mm-hmm. What's the difference? Is it more of a digital versus analog? Is it more broadband versus high speed? How would you, do you have an analogy that you could put to it?
Yeah, so it's let's see, 8-track versus MP3.
Wow. Wow, that's a long time apart now. For those of you millennials who don't know about 8-track, that's a big step. Why such a broad, perspective? Because in 19 years, there have been a substantial movement forward in terms of platforms and the like. But what do you think are some of the differences that'll help your legacy, if you will, stand out?
Look, so, everybody knows the commissioner has a strong legacy with the MEAC. He has made, with the Celebration Bowl, the MEAC Swag Challenge, the other firsts that we've had under his leadership. So there's no discounting the leadership and the growth that he's made in these 19 years. What I bring moving forward is a more creative way of telling our story, which is very important. Also looking at unique ways that we can engage our potential corporate partners. When you look at corporate partnerships, it's not the same. We're in, like you said, we're in a digital age, social media. So, we have to be able to give our corporate partnerships not the usual signage. We got to give them something that's unique and different. And one of the things that I've been talking with the staff about when it comes to corporate partnerships is I don't want the same old thing. I want to see something that's different and unique to each corporate partner. In meeting their goal and giving them a good return on investment. The other thing with that is if the MEAC can't be exclusive, then we need to be first when it comes to some type of thing that we're doing with our corporate partnerships. I want to make history. So let's do something that's unique, that's going to help tell the story of the MEAC with this particular corporate partnership. And how is that going to reach out not only to athletics, but how is that going to reach out with an academic component, scholarships, how internships for our students. So, I want this involvement with corporate partnerships to be impact investing. How can we work with corporate partners that will assist our institutions with their line items, similar to our long-term relationship with Nike? How our institutions don't have to worry about uniforms and shoes to a certain extent because we've taken care of that. So then that money can be moved on to facilities or staffing or other things. So I'm looking for partners who are going to help impact our institutions and the sustainability of that.
What makes the MEAC attractive to the Elite Eight to stay at home these days? And what do you think makes it attractive to anybody else who want to come in?
So one of the things, again, our revenue distribution for our membership, finding ways of revenue generation for our membership, that's a key. Finding those ways that we can assist our institutions, how we can find ways to help, my words is accentuate what our institutions are doing. So in the matter of uplifting them on a national platform in ways like that, and ways that we can cultivate a culture of a MEAC in our history and the way that we want to be seen in the public. And it's a part of that buy-in that we have to be able to buy into the future of where we see the conference. So I think when you have build relationships within the membership, not only with the membership, but with our board chairs of our trustees from our institutions, looking at our alumni, all of that in being transparent about where we are as a conference, and where we want to go, and to get that involvement as we move forward.
How much does TV revenue play into the financial distribution, and has Thursday night football's time come and gone? You're opposite the NFL, and I'm talking about the HBCU. We all know that the NFL is the 800-pound media gorilla in the room. It drives every major network, but our games are on opposite the NFL on Thursday night. We can't win. So would you suggest perhaps with your media partners that, say, a Friday night? I was at a Friday night game in DC a couple of weeks back, and the atmosphere in the building was tremendous despite the lack of success that the teams were having. What would be your position on that?
Yeah, I agree with you, Mark. I think Thursday night games wouldn't fit for us right now. I think Friday night game, I was with you at Howard, and that was tremendous. It was good for TV. It was at the perfect time. And I think that may be where our fit is in regards to, if not on Saturday, a Friday night game, I think would be tremendous. And so those will be like one of the things that we'll continue to talk to ESPN about, but also look at other ways that we can stream that, of course, keeps us in line with our ESPN contract, but looking at those various platforms that we can get more exposure for our institutions.
And football as a revenue generator for schools. I talked to an athletic director inside the conference who told me that it was less about generating revenue at this level, his term, not mine, but it was more about the experience for the schools. And that was shocking to me because, the model I'm used to seeing is, okay, football's the cash cow, which keeps everything flowing. Can you expound on how that impacts individual schools and the conference?
So I think I didn't answer your previous question. With the revenue that we generate with football, for instance, when you're talking about TV and you're talking about the Celebration Bowl, we have a revenue distribution formula. So it's a shared revenue with all the members, which I think is very important because I think we're stronger together. I know we're stronger together than we are apart. And so that's how we should approach our anything that we're going after as a collective instead of as individuals. In regards to that comment, I guess I would say that, the athletic director is looking at the best interests of their institution, which is what every athletic director should be doing. So it's a matter of seeing if that interest is going to be in the best interest of the conference as a whole, and how we move forward. And so that's the thing that we need to be on the same page and think not only as individual institutions, but also what is best for the conference as a whole.
Thanks. Look forward to talking to you down the road. And again, congratulations.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you so much.
All right, we have time for one last question from Anthony Amy.
All right, thanks, Karen. Commissioner-elect, good morning to you. Congratulations from one Hamptonian to another. I have one question for you and one follow-up.
Sure.
The first one is, I know it's difficult to pare it down, but if you had to choose one main thing, what most prepared you for this position and for this opportunity?
Wow. The one thing I think that prepared me is probably my work ethic and my loyalty to the conference. Some people work at a job but this is a career for me. My background is in counseling. So, if you want to talk about something, let me know about your feelings. But to grow into an administrator and that stick-to-itiveness, to stay with Dr. Thomas for over 23 years, to focus on the students and why I'm here is very important. You can't get lost in what I want to say. You can't get lost in everything that's going around you. You have to be focused on what the goal is. And if the goal is the servicing our membership, giving our student athletes a good experience, if that is your focus, then you are going to love what you do. And so that's very important. And the relationships that I've been able to build has been tremendous in helping me along my way. So I hope that answers your question.
Yes, it did. And one follow-up, you spoke with my BNC colleague, James, a moment ago about becoming the first. And one thing that in conversations with Jackie McWilliams that she's always mentioned is she wants to do enough so that she's not the last. So
absolutely,
in a similar mindset, what must you do in your role to ensure that you're not the last, that many more follow you, and that as we continue to celebrate these appointments, that it's no longer eye-opening when they happen?
Absolutely. My history shows, I've managed and coordinated the Women in Athletics Professional Development Workshop. It's important to have that pipeline, but it's also important to have strong women pulling them up. And so that's one of the reasons why I died to have Karen Carty to come to the office. This is very important to me. Having Cecily Tafoya to come back to the office, particularly what a great representative for the Hispanic and Latina community, and bringing those women to help give them the tools that they need to be successful. And it's important that I bring individuals who are smarter than me, and then give them that latitude to show who they are with the membership, so that those opportunities that come, people know exactly who they are. And so I'm going to definitely continue to do that. I'm going to continue to bring those women around me and put them in the forefront as well. That also will happen when we talk about individuals who will be sportscasters for our games. I'm looking for additional women to be in the mix. I think, we have a women's basketball game. Why not have a woman commentator calling the game? So, various things that you will see, the nuances of more women in my staff that will be in the forefront as we move forward, because I do not intend to do this forever. I hope to be looking at some water sometime in the future, but it's most important to have that person who's up next, who is up next, and I want to be that person to help pull them up.
All right, thanks so much. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, Anthony.
Thank you, Ms. Stills, and thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being with us today. This concludes today's press conference. We thank you for your attendance and your participation, and we ask that you visit miacsports.com and follow the MIAC on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube for the latest up-to-date news. Thank you, everyone, for being here. We appreciate you. Have a good one.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.